Hello, everyone. Welcome to Durrett's Take. It's time to go over my college football playoff predictions. Instead of doing just the first round and going from there, I'm just doing the whole thing right now. I'm all the way up to the championship game to see who wins. So let's get started with the first round game between 10 seed Indiana and 7 seed Notre Dame. We're 7-point favorites. It's the Friday night ABC game. Congrats on a congrats for a program like Indiana to make the playoffs. Personally, I felt despite the record that they are not a playoff caliber team because of their weak schedule, but they will get a chance to prove me wrong here. Since the Irish have lost to a team like NIU at home this season, anything is possible for the Hoosiers. However, if the Irish just play their game, their talent will be too much for Indiana to overcome. I have them winning 27-17. Next, you got 11 seed SMU, last team in, versus 6 seed Penn State, who are 8.5-point favorites. Noon game on TNT. Congrats on a program like SMU to make the playoffs, especially in their first year being in a power conference. They actually get a favorable first round matchup. Of course, playing at Happy Valley is not easy, I'm not saying that. However, as fans know, Coach James Franklin struggles in the big games. Plus, Penn State is a predictable team. They want to run the ball a lot, and then when they do pass, they want to pass it to their lead tight end, Tyler Warren. SMU has a defensive line to slow the Lions' run game down. However, their secondary get exposed, to a degree against Clemson. So will Penn State's receivers win their battles to win this game is the big question for them. For SMU, their offensive line is not great, and Penn State has a good pass rush. So can Mustangs quarterback Kevin Jennings take care of the ball and take the plays that are given to him? If SMU loses the turnover battle, they will lose this game automatically. I'm just saying, calling straight up. They will lose this game. They will lose this game automatically if they lose the turnover battle. Now, if they're even or win the turnover battle, then they will get the upset. Since SMU has not beaten a top 25 team this season, I think they fall to 0-3 in a close game. I have Penn State winning 27-23. Next, you got 12 Clemson versus 5 Texas, who are 12-point favorites, 4 p.m. TNT game. I know Clemson has just happened to be in the playoffs since they needed Miami to lose the last week of the season just to get an opportunity to then make the playoffs. It's too bad for Clemson fans that despite the head-to-head victory, they remains behind SMU because this matchup for the Tigers would be very hard for them to win. Clemson's offense has struggled against the 2 SEC defenses they played this season, Georgia, South Carolina. Clemson's defense against good teams is not as solid as well. So as long as quarterback Quinn Ewers plays smart football and doesn't turn the ball over, then Austin fans should be celebrating a playoff win by the end of the game, after winning 31-16. And then 9 Tennessee versus 8 Ohio State, or 7.5-point favorites, Saturday night prime time. This playoff game is the hardest to predict. Ohio State, after a bad loss, usually bounces back in their next game. Especially in this case, it's Coach Risey's job. Fair or unfair could be on the line. The Buckeyes clearly have one of the best rosters in college football, and based on talent, they should win this game. However, the Volunteers have some advantages in this game. Tennessee has a good defense, like Michigan, and specifically their defensive line is elite. Since Ohio State has injuries on the offensive line, I can see that being a problem. Also, Tennessee has a really good running back with Dylan Sampson, and in Ohio State's biggest games this year, they've given up some rushing yards. However, redshirt freshman Nico Lava is a young, redshirt freshman quarterback, and the lights, the stage, the playoffs being on the road, that could get a little too big for him. So I feel like he will not deliver the clutch, and that's why I have the Buckeyes surviving this game. I have them winning 20-17. Now for the quarterfinals, you got in the Verbal Fiesta Bowl, you'd have them Penn State versus 3 seed Boise State, Tuesday, New Year's Eve, primetime game. Even though Boise State is seeded too highly, congrats to them for making the playoffs. Lots of people will assume this will be a blowout. I don't see it that way. Boise State behind Heisman finalist running back Ashton Denny will run the ball a lot, and as fans saw in their biggest game this year, the Nittany Lions will give up some rushing yards. The question is, can the Broncos outscore Penn State to a win? And wouldn't shock me if they did, but I'm not going to bet that's going to happen. So I have Penn State winning 38-27. Next, you get the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl with 5 Texas versus 4 seed Arizona State. New Year's Day, 1 p.m. game, ESPN. Congrats to a program like Arizona State for making the playoffs. They have one of the best running backs in the country, Cam Scatterby. If it wasn't for Ashton Genty, Scatterby would have been in New York for the Heisman Trophy presentations and be the #1 running back in the country. He's that good. Texas will have their hands full against him. However, since Texas has a really good defense, specifically run defense, ASU will need to beat them through the air if they want to get the upset. Sam Levitt has been a good quarterback this season for Arizona State, especially as a scrambler. However, if the Longhorns defense could just make Levitt a pocket passer and that's it, then I think Texas on offense will do enough to get the win. Either way, 34-20. Next, you got the Rose Bowl. You got Ohio State versus 1 seed Oregon. New Year's Day, 5 p.m. ESPN game. A rematch from the matchup in Eugene this year that came down to the wire. I think both teams will make adjustments in this game, so it'll be another close battle between the two. I think the offensive line injuries for the Buckeyes will finally catch up to them in this game, and the Ducks win the rematch. I had them winning 31-28. Next, you got the All-State Sugar Bowl. You got 7 Notre Dame versus 2 seed Georgia. New Year's Eve, 8:45 p.m. ESPN game. This matchup is hard to get a read on. Georgia quarterback Carson Beck with an arm injury is probably out this game, and backup quarterback Gunnar Stockton played well enough to get the win in the SC title game. But as the game went on, I could see the ceiling there. Maybe Georgia can muster up another game like they did against Texas, where the offense is just enough, and then the defense balls out to get the win. But that will be hard to do against this Irish team. Because of Beck being out, that's the only reason why I'm going to go picking Notre Dame to get the upset here over Georgia in my first upset pick of the playoffs. I have Notre Dame winning 19-16. Now for the semifinals, you got the Capital One Orange Bowl. You got 7 Notre Dame versus 6 Penn State. It's Thursday, January 9th game, primetime ESPN. This is where I think Penn State's run to the Final Four will end. This is one of those big matchups where Notre Dame can take advantage of Penn State's predictability on offense. And in the biggest game of his career, I don't trust Franklin to win it. I have Notre Dame winning 21-20. And then for the Goodyear Cotton Bowl, you got 5 Texas versus 1 Oregon, Friday night, January 10th, ESPN per game. This is going to be a great matchup. Texas has more talent, in my opinion, but the problem that Coach Steve Sarkisian has is in the biggest games of his career, he just coaches differently, and not for the better. He makes questionable play calls, and the team self-destructs with penalties. I know Dan Laney as a head coach hasn't won anything yet, but I feel he could be the next head coach to reach the title game, and I'll take the Ducks to win the nail-biter, 31-27. And then for the championship game, we get 7 Notre Dame versus 1 Oregon, Monday, January 20th, primetime ESPN game. In the big games, Notre Dame has fallen short, which is why they haven't won a title in a long time. Oregon has never won championships, so for either program, this is a big opportunity here. Both have veteran quarterbacks. Both teams can run the ball well. Notre Dame probably has a little bit of edge on defense, but not much of one. Same with Oregon State. Same with Oregon. I meant special teams. For me, this comes down to which coach-quarterback combo I like better. In this case, I like Dylan Gabriel, Dan Laney combination to get the job done, either winning 28-24 to win their first championship. So those are my playoff picks. Now, thank you very much for listening to my podcast today. Continue to watch all the other bowl games because a lot of the bowl games so far have already been good. Just continue to watch those. There's some good games there. And then also, I've come out with my way too early updated bracketology in college basketball. I posted that on my LinkedIn page down Durrett. So if you want to go look at that, please do. I'll come out with the newer updated bracketology within a couple of weeks at once conference play starts to kick off and college basketball there. And also, make sure to continue to watch the NBA as well. And thank you very much, and NFL as well, I guess. But thank you very much. You all have a wonderful day. Have a happy holidays.